It's hard enough trying to get a snapshot of where every American lived on April 1st. Couple that with a pandemic, and it made it much harder. And then Oregon saw historic wildfires, displacing thousands of people and impacting door-to-door and homeless counts. Census Bureau data shows they counted 99.9% of known housing units in the state, with most responding on their own. But to be clear, that doesn't mean every Oregonian will be accounted for, and it doesn't mean the count is accurate. Charles Reinerson with PSU Population Research Center says people will get missed, but we may never know the scope.
We won't probably ever know the complete extent of that, at least at a local level. There will be some analysis at a national level.
Oregonians who live in rural areas, kids under 5, people of color, and those experiencing homelessness, all historically undercounted in the census.
When the data come out in 2021, there will probably be more discussion about the reliability of the data.
Census data determines legislative districts, representation in Congress, and how billions of dollars in federal money flows to communities.
Places that didn't have a good count won't be represented as well as places that did.
It impacts everything from roads and schools to public programs.
I guess my biggest concern throughout this process of the census since it kicked off is this administration's attempt to politicize the census in a way that the census should just never be politicized.
Through We Count Oregon, Autumn Edmo works to get Native Americans on reservations counted.
We've seen tribal communities really step up their efforts.
But with lower than average response rates,
tribal people don't have a lot of evidence to trust the government.
She says Indian country fears an undercount, meaning less resources and representation.
For a community that has already gone without their fair share of resources for quite some time, that is of serious concern.
Morgan Romero, KGW News.
Oregon Governor Kate Brown just released a statement on the Supreme Court's census ruling this week. It says, in part, undermining the census will have devastating consequences for the next decade all across Oregon's communities, but especially for communities of color, tribal and American Indian communities, and other historically hard-to-count populations. An inaccurate census count will mean less funding for critical public services so many Oregonians rely on, like Medicaid, SNAP food benefits, and Section 8 housing vouchers.